Hey guys, now that you've spent some time watching the video on how to create an effective thesis, we're going to spend a little bit of time developing an effective character analysis paragraph. Before we begin writing our paragraph, there's a few important things we need to remember. Firstly, in our paragraph, we're going to need a strong thesis statement. If you recall from our video, we talked about how there are three definitions for our thesis. A, it is a statement of purpose for the paper. B, it's an opinion stated as a fact with three supporting details. And C, it is X is Y because of A, B, and C. All three of these definitions mean the same thing. Secondly, there should not be any personal pronouns located anywhere in your paragraph. Personal pronouns include I, me, my, you, your, our, we, and us. Remember, personal pronouns make your statement more of an opinion. We want to take out the personal pronouns so that our information is viewed as facts. Thirdly, all supporting details must relate back to your opinion statement. If you state that cats are the best animal, your three supporting details must explain how they are the best animal. For this paragraph, your assignment was to argue how a character from a short story you read was impacted by their motivation. Your supporting details that were to help explain the motivation were three elements of characterization. You could pick from one of the following: physical appearance, strength, weakness, emotion, actions, thoughts, and dialogue. You could not use motivation as a supporting detail since it was included in your opinion statement. Now let's check out some student paragraphs that supported the argument and some that did not. On the next few example paragraphs, you're going to notice some highlighting. The yellow highlighting is the opinion statement. The orange is the first supporting detail, the purple is the second, and the green is the third supporting detail. After I'm done reading the paragraph, I'll explain how it is either effective or needs development. This first paragraph is an effective paragraph. Notice how when I read it, how the writer continuously supports his opinion statement. The character's main motivation is greed. This is demonstrated through his strength, actions, and dialogue. His greed is demonstrated through his strength because magic is his strength, and he's using that to his advantage by spinning straw into gold. His greed makes him use his strength to get things. His greed is shown through his action because he is spinning the straw into gold so he can get things. Spinning straw into gold took all night, and that shows how badly he wanted the gift and how greedy he is. Lastly, his greed is shown through his dialogue or words because every night he asks, "What will you give me?" He is not spinning the straw into gold for helper. He is doing it so he can get the gift. This is shown through the phrase, "What will you give me?" I'd like you to take a minute to look through this paragraph and notice how the author supports the opinion statement of the character being greedy through his supporting details. Notice that each time the author talks about his A, B, or C, he refers back to the motivation. I'm going to take a few seconds to pause while you look through this paragraph. This author did take the time to make sure that they supported their argument that the character's main motivation is greed. Unlike example A, example B needs a little more development. You will notice a lack of highlighting as I go through this paragraph. This is because this author did not relate back how the A, B, and C support the opinion statement. The girl's main motivation is life. This is demonstrated through emotions, weakness, and strength. It is true because the story says, "Now set to work, and if by tomorrow morning early you have not spun this straw into gold during the night, you must die." This is why the girl is so destined to ask Rumpelstiltskin to spin the straw into gold, just so that she won't be killed by the king. Emotions, weaknesses, and strength definitely impact the girl's motivation. This writer did a nice job to find a quote that supported the opinion that the girl's motivation is life. Yet this paragraph lacks the support of how emotions, weaknesses, and strength prove that her motivation is life. This paragraph, example C, also needs development. You will notice as I read through this paragraph that the opinion statement is not supported. I will read it first and then go back and explain how it could be strengthened. The miller's daughter's main motivation is to survive by spreading straw into gold. This is demonstrated through her crying, giving up her jewels to Rumpelstiltskin, and becoming scared. I can prove this because in the story it states that the king says, "If by early tomorrow you have not spun the straw into gold, you must die." The miller's daughter copes by crying. Her actions, weakness, and physical traits definitely impact the miller daughter's motivation. One of the first things you'll notice while reading through this paragraph is a red highlighted word. The word I is a personal pronoun. It needs to be taken out of this paragraph. There should be no personal pronouns anywhere in this paragraph. Next, you'll notice that the three supporting details are listed at the bottom of the paragraph. They should be right up close to the opinion statement. None of the three supporting details are supported within the paragraph. The author did a nice job finding a quote and also explained the miller daughter's emotions by talking about how she copes by crying. But she does not go into detail about how her actions, weaknesses, and physical traits support her motivation to survive. In fact, nowhere in the paragraph does this author ever talk about the physical traits of the daughter. In this next paragraph, example D, you will notice how the author of this paragraph supports the opinion statement through the three supporting details. Rumpelstiltskin's main motivation is the queen's child. Pause. Again, that is the opinion statement for this paper. Your author is going to explain through the three supporting details that everything Rumpelstiltskin wants is the queen's child. Here we go. This is demonstrated through his strength, actions, and thoughts. He demonstrates this through his strength of being tricky. If he wasn't tricky, then there would have been no way for him to get the queen's child. Pause. Notice that this author directly relates the strength of being tricky to the desire to take the queen's child. Here we go again. He also demonstrates this by his action of spinning straw into gold. Spinning straw into gold gave his way into making deals with the queen about giving him her child. Pause. Again, by looking into the actions of Rumpelstiltskin and the desire to spin the straw into gold, you'll realize that what he really wants is the queen's child. And this author does a great job connecting those ideas. Here we go again. Also, his thoughts of the child demonstrate his motivation. He is always thinking about the queen's child, which leads his motivation to be getting the queen's child. Pause. That sentence is a little redundant and could use some revision. And there's also a spelling error. But when it comes to supporting the opinion statement, it's right on. Again, this author talks about the fact that this Rumpelstiltskin is only thinking about the queen's child. Let's end it. The quote, "Know something alive is dearer to me than all the treasures of the world," shows how desperate he was to get her child. Strength, actions, and thoughts definitely impacted Rumpelstiltskin's motivation. So again, I hope you notice that this author spends the time to go through each supporting detail and relate it directly to the opinion statement. This author does not use any personal pronouns to support their paper. They made it all sound like a fact. I hope this helped you in understanding what's expected of you when writing these paragraphs. The goal is to support, to explain, and to directly relate back to your opinion statement. Please feel free to talk to Ms. Norrell, Mr. Vetter, or Mrs. Thyron if you are still struggling after watching this video.